This is the Honda Insider Report, brought to you by the 2018 Honda Pilot, with seating for up to 8 people and 109.2 cubic feet of cargo space. It's got all the big you need to comfortably get you to the big game. See yourself at your local Honda dealer today, test driving the Pilot. And he has been the pilot for 10 Super Bowls. This is his 10th Super Bowl coming up this Sunday on NBC. The great Al Michaels. How are you, Al?
Great to be. This is quite a setup, I got to say, man.
Oh, good.
I would move the show here if I were you.
Well, you know what? You understand what type of temperature I'm accustomed to now living out in Los Angeles.
71 degrees in here right now.
And here it is climate controlled in here. It is definitely climate controlled in here. Beautiful. Now, you called, if I'm not mistaken, the outdoor playoff game between the Vikings and the Seahawks that was in the temperatures that we're walking around in right now, right?
2 years ago. We're staying at a hotel downtown, and I knew it was going to be cold, but I woke up. The game started at noon. So I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I look across the alleyway to a building with a time and temperature sign on top of it.
Yes.
7 o'clock in the morning, it said minus 21. I didn't want to get out of bed. So I started getting dressed at 7 o'clock.
Wow.
It was, I think, minus 4 at game time, but fortunately,
Yes.
there was no wind. I mean, hardy souls in Minnesota. Of course, the place is packed. That's when they're building this, and we had to play that game at the University of Minnesota Stadium, and that's the game that Blair Walsh missed the field goal at the end of the game in. And we had a shot. Drew Esikoff punched up a shot, our director, as the sun was beginning to get low in the sky at around 3 o'clock.
I remember this, yeah.
And you saw breath from like 10,000 people in the
silhouettes,
end zone.
and it was remarkable.
Like Jupiter.
It was incredible.
It really did. It was incredible.
So here we are at this one right now. Now, Al, there's so many different ways I could go here with you. Let's start with this. With the dynastic Patriots, this is the second time they can go 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. You have covered some dynasties before. Big Red Machine leaps to mind to start off your career. Where do you place the Patriots in the events and teams and dynasties you've been witness to?
Right up near the top. I think one of the things, too, you have to remember is that when we thought of dynasties years ago, the Yankees, tremendous dynasty, of course, in the 40s and 50s, there were only 16 teams in baseball at that time. So it was easier to win that much. Now there are twice as many teams. The Celtics and the Lakers, the NBA was about half the size. When the Montreal Canadiens were a great dynasty in the NHL, 6 teams. Now there are, I think, 30. So for the Patriots to do this in an era when you have the salary cap and you have the draft, and it mitigates against you being able to do this, it's astonishing. And, you know, I'm a big believer in the law of averages. If you have 32 teams in a league, you should win 6 Super Bowls every 192 years, and they're trying to do it in 17. That's a dynasty.
That is incredible. And you've known Robert Kraft for a long time. Sure. We talk about Brady and Belichick and how they need each other, et cetera, et cetera. What do you think he's going to do when this win or lose and these two guys, Brady and Belichick, sit down with him? How do you think he's going to handle whatever the situation is? That clearly there's something. We don't know what it is. But how do you think he's going to handle this, Al?
I think they're back together. I'd be shocked if we didn't see Brady and Belichick next year. I mean, where's Bill going to go at this particular point?
Well, that's one.
You're right.
Right.
And Tom, I don't see him ending his career the way, let's say, Joe Namath did, or Johnny Unitas did, or Willie Mays did, or Pete Rose did. I mean, they don't look right in another uniform. I just can't imagine. Not that it couldn't happen, but I would be shocked. And by the way, Brady is going to probably win the MVP award.
Yes.
Or could, certainly.
Well, I know he would be mine.
Yep.
He would be my choice for that.
He's my choice too at this particular point. So, I mean, is there going to be that much of a drop-off between 40 and 41? There might be, but I wouldn't count on it.
Al Michaels here in the Honda Insider Report here on the Rich Eisen Show. How do you approach your broadcast like this, Al? I know you've done 10 of them, but I'd love to get inside your skull as to what happens for you on a Super Sunday here in Minnesota.
You know, Chris Collinsworth and Michelle DeFoy and our whole crew, we know about everything there is to know. So we have 18 gazillion things we can talk about, stories, statistics, you name it. But, Rich, I've always felt, and Chris feels the same way, and Michelle as well, let the game start. See where the game is. I mean, I have 18 things that I could tell you right off the top that would be maybe interesting, but not relevant to the game. You have to fold in your information and make sure that it's germane to the game. So I've always thought of, the game is the melody, and we provide the lyrics, and you want them to match. So you don't want the game to be over here, and you're talking about some defensive back over here. Hey, did you know this story? No, you can't do that. So let the game begin. Let the game come to you. And one of the things I'll never forget, John Madden, before we did the Super Bowls that we did, he looked at me, gave me a little fist bump before the game, and he said, "Hey, let's go out and make a memory." And that's what you want to do on Super Bowl.
Is that what he would say to you?
He would say, "Let's make a memory." How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That is great.
Yeah, and we did make some memories.
You
too.
sure did. And then before Madden, though, obviously you were doing, Monday Night Football, and then with the ABC crew, and that seminal Super Bowl with the Gulf War that was happening.
90.
And the Giants in that game. We're going to hear a lot about that game. We already have because of Hostetler was in that game. Do you see any similarities at all with Hostetler, Foles, other than just the obvious? At all,
it's funny. I've done the 2 games where the backup quarterback came in and won it, Doug Williams.
Yes.
In '87 for Washington, and then Hostetler.
So that's good for the Eagles then that you're doing this game.
Hey, listen, they're looking for the hat trick. Blame me if you lose the game,
right?
Or credit me if you win the game. But
right.
It's somewhat similar, though Foles has had more experience to this point than Hostetler had going into that game. And the Giants had, a very dominant defense that helped them get through the playoffs and win it all. Philadelphia's got a great defense as well. The difference, Foles is a little different in the sense that Hostetler never had a year with 27 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions, threw 7 touchdowns in a game, all of which Foles has done. Foles looked like he was an emerging superstar in 2013, and then kind of went like this. Then he thought about quitting. Now he's back. It does make for a great story. There are parallels, but there's also big differences.
So what storyline that's come across your eyes, your ears somehow over the last week? Obviously, you called the Eagles beating the Falcons. You've seen them. You obviously know the Patriots inside and out. That said, which one do you think, of all the storylines that you've heard this week, that you're eager perhaps to tell people about on Sunday?
You got to tune in, man.
Okay.
It's like I can't give you the whole list right here. But I think one of the things, obviously, with Philadelphia,
yes,
is they look so good. They're on top of so many of the power rankings going into December.
Yes.
Wentz gets hurt. Now they're dead. Well, they're not quite dead, as it turns out.
Yes.
And for the Patriots, in a way, you go back to opening night. They lose to Kansas City.
It's unbelievable.
There goes your perfect season. And people go crazy. Oh, it's the Patriots aren't the Patriots anymore, blah, blah, blah. Then they lose to Carolina, so they're 2-2. And there's such an overreaction to all of that. Same thing in 14. Remember they get beaten in Kansas City on the Monday night? This is in 2014. The papers are calling for Garoppolo in 2014. Come on.
I know.
It's crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
Yep.
So did you hear Tony Dungy's son ask Justin Timberlake a question yesterday?
I'm looking for that kid.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm going after him.
Yeah. His 11-year-old son asked him about how he's going to get you up. I think shaking your booty, Al, was the parlance of the question.
Yep. I'm not quite sure what it means.
Okay.
But
Well, I think it means that you're just going to get some sort of a groove on at halftime. Is there a possibility of something like that happening, do you think, Al? I don't want to take any suspense out of it here, but
I've got to call Vegas and see what the odds are that I will dare to do this.
is there such a thing? I'm turning my
I'm sure
expert
there
on this
will be.
front.
I don't know about the shake your booty, but one online book has no fewer than 5 prop bets for what things Al might say during the broadcast.
It's insane. I can't look at these things because it will be in my mind.
You
Well,
can't have
I've
it.
looked at them, and if you want to make some extra
I don't
cash,
wanna,
Al.
I don't think we can. you don't want to influence anything of that
Right.
sort, do you?
Well, I'm looking to pay rent coming up.
Are you?
For the next few
Yeah,
months.
but when Gaming Control knocks on my hotel room door that night, what do you want me to do?
Here in Minnesota,
Right.
Is there any requests that you have of Timberlake at all, Al?
Of Justin?
Yeah, you got any requests?
Free tickets to a concert?
There you
maybe?
go. I mean, there was that at the Hall of Fame,
Fame.
this year
Right.
in
Oh, yeah.
Canton,
We
Ohio.
were there. That was wild.
That was something.
Yeah.
Was there any booty shaking on that night? I wasn't around you the whole
From
night.
me.
No,
No, not for me. But I was in the catacombs
So,
that night.
the catacombs, the famed catacombs of Canton. Al, you're the man. I'm looking forward to hearing your broadcast, seeing it, and then getting together when we're back in Los Angeles.
Let's have fun.
We'll do that. We'll
Great,
do
Rich.
that.
Good to be
And then,
with you.
as you know, hopefully we can work something out for yet another
Yep.
Miracle on Ice
Why not?
anniversary show.
38th anniversary.
38th
Keep it going.
anniversary. Al Michaels, check it out tonight. Sunday night. When Toe meets ball with Chris Collinsworth, the man bringing you the action of Super Bowl 52 on NBC. When we come back, we will decide who I am taking. I'm taking one of these two. I'm +1 in Roger Goodell's suite.
What do you mean just +1?
That's it. I'm +1. I mean, what do you think? I should be able to swing +2? I mean,
Thank you, Al.
I've got.
You're a good man, Al.
Thank you, Al.
Can you help with that? I mean,
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
uh-oh. He did not point to either one of you guys.
Ouch.
Well, but we will decide that when we come back here on our final segment here of the Rich Eisen Show of Super Bowl week. We will be on the day after, but we will get you set for the game when we come back.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.